Sophisticated ignorance. One day you're gonna stop with these old school Caribbean auntie sayings. A day late and a
Oh,
dollar short.
I almost almost left the meeting just because that's that's just my innate.
Is that going to be a new segment on the show? I almost left the meeting.
That was just my innate instinct to leave a place that I don't want to be in. So I apologize for that. And I didn't read what the host was granting me. So I just said got it instead. So
it's either fight or flight, and you choose flight every time.
Yeah, and you choose violence and you fight every morning you wake up. So here we are.
So I'm fighting.
Yin and yang. Yin and yang.
Rude, but maybe accurate. I don't know. I'm trying to be better. Anyway.
And you know what's so funny? People think I'm the fighter, but I'm the lover. I'm the kind one. You know, it's so funny. That mask that everyone thinks, well, that person's so super nice. They are the meanest motherfucker that you ever thought. Right. And the ones that are rude and upfront are the nicest people that you can consider. So,
but no, I mean, honest, as long as I've known you, Rove, I feel like your whole like mean girl, smug face, all that stuff, I feel like that is a thing of the past, to be very honest. I've witnessed your growth. So I feel like you have to retire that. That's not you anymore.
I've never been mean, even when we were younger. I've never been mean. I might be rude, but I've always been kind. I've been rude. I'm rude as hell. I
think
unfortunately, it's
as long
really
as we
bad.
can all sync up to the rudeness. But yes, kindness, I definitely. But I was coming with a compliment, and here we go. Boom.
The rudeness comes out, yes, because I had your back many a time in junior high school. So don't even try it. I always had your back. So
no one's denying that fact. That's why I just said rude but kind.
Thank you. I accept it.
Oh my gosh! I was waiting for the thank you, but I didn't do it for the thank
you. See, I'm trying to mature and evolve. I'm still evolving. That's okay. I'm evolving like COVID. So here we go.
Wow! Too soon. 2 years in. Too soon.
Too soon.
You can't say things like that. Wow.
Retract that last statement. Retraction.
Well, until another variant comes out,
Lord,
we'll keep that on the record. Oh man! Whew. All right, let's begin. Hey everybody, welcome to Sophisticated Ignorance. I'm Vixon J.
It's your girl Rovie.
We know it's been a while, and you know I was thinking about this, and I know that sometimes you don't announce we're taking a break, we're stepping away, but you know, sometimes mental health and sometimes all these other things in life be lifing, and sometimes we just have to take a step back. But as long as we come back, you know what I mean? We hope that you guys at least appreciate that.
For sure.
And you know, as I'm going to start saying, if this is your first time here, welcome. If this is your second time here, welcome back. If this is if you've been here, then you know the vibes. And if this is your last time here, then thanks for coming. So.
Not the church welcomes. Oh boy.
It's not church welcomes.
The pastor at the pulpit, welcome here. Everybody here from down the street? Anybody else here? Stand up in the pews. No, I'm kidding.
You got to talk to the people. I mean, you got to. But yes. But we're back.
Thank you for everyone listening. Yeah, we're back in action.
Yes, thank you for your patience. As I said, life has been lifing on both of our ends, but we have not forgotten about y'all. And yeah, I just want to talk about the latest and greatest.
For sure. What you been up to?
Oh, everything. Everything is everything. You know, I am happy to announce that me and my partner are officially moved into the same space, locked in. Love that for us.
Ooh.
So that is such a great transition, and I'm just loving the fact that, you know what I mean, I get to be with my best friend every day.
Oh, how corny is that? So
wow,
cute.
Okay. All right.
No, but it's corny and cute. A little bit. It's cute and corny, and I must say this is the fastest I've seen you evolved in a relationship. So snaps for that.
Thank you.
Um, I'm proud of your growth. Um,
Thank you. Thank
Hopefully,
you.
I get an invite to whatever occurs in the future. I'm just putting that out there in the atmosphere and just let that dissolve.
Okay. Well, you'll be getting an Evite more than likely. Remember Evites? Oh my gosh. The aunties used to
No,
love an Evite. Oh my
goodbye.
mom used to
And you
love it
sound
so
like
much.
one now, an Evite.
Am I showing my
Next,
age? Yikes.
yes, next.
Anyway, what about you? What have you been up to? How's life?
Um, I've been good. Same old. Just trying to make the best version of myself, and just huddle to the streets of growing every day. Ain't shit change around here in these parts.
This is giving, I don't know, Schoolhouse Rock. What is up with these like sayings of
Are you saying I
positivity?
don't
I
talk
love
like
it.
this?
No, I
You
love
say
it.
right.
I'm just saying,
Every
it's just
day I'm
like
evolving. I am evolving. Can't
that
you
is the
tell?
motto.
I
Yes.
have a lot of growth. I have grown. So I am proud of that. I'm proud to speak positivity every day. And I'm proud to mature just a tiny bit every single day.
Until someone tests you and then it's all out the window.
No, I've been working on that as well too, because I've been tested a lot. Yeah, I have been. I always, and I cut off at the head real easy and I just let you sever out and bleed. But now I'm just saying I don't need to cut people off as quickly and swiftly as often as I do. I can
Ah,
come from a place of understanding now and not try to be as harsh. You know what I mean?
and that's appreciated for everyone involved.
Hmm.
So
But
yes,
some
so
people do need to just get the cut.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
there's others
Snip
that
snip.
don't need it. So I'm proud of
Big
my
snip
growth.
energy. Well, you
Ooh.
carry around that scissor and use it wisely. How
Oh
about that?
Lord.
Anyway, let's dive into what's been happening lately in the world. So the world is on fire. This is today's topic. Everything is crazy. Um, Everything's kind of wild these days. We're going to talk about Russia and Ukraine and what's going on over there.
Mm.
And I know the internet has been buzzing about it, and everyone has heard a lot of stories about what's happening, what's not happening. Some people don't know what's going on. You see a clip, you see a story. It seems like every day is something new. So we kind of just wanted to quickly break down what is happening there, why it's happening, and then
Hmm.
well, not apparently, I mean, there's evidence, but all the racism that has come out of this. And it's strange because it's like, of all the things you'd think, um, racism would not be at the forefront, but here we are in 2022 world. So uh, well, life be life in. Um, so yeah, we're going to talk about that real quick and just kind of get the topic off the board. Um, so when it comes to Russia and Ukraine, some people are probably wondering what's the relation, what's going on there, why is there a war, why is Russia invading Ukraine, and there is a lot of reasons why it's happening. Long story short, based on the research that I did about the whole issue, because me too, I wasn't really too clear about what was going on there.
Yeah.
I know that Russia and Ukraine have a relationship. Like Ukraine used to be a territory of Russia back in the day, and then they gained their independence, and Russia's never liked that ever since.
Yeah,
And by
from the
Russia, I mean
Soviet
Putin.
Union. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh,
So I
okay.
know, well, I mean, we all know who we're really talking about here. Come on, the big poo and tin, right? Um, so we know what time it is there. So basically, yes, Russia believes that Ukraine shouldn't have independent statehood, that still belongs under Russia's ownership, right? So it's kind of like if you let somebody borrow your car, right? Or sorry, actually, no, another analogy. I wanna. Yeah, it's kind of like if you say, "Yo, I don't want this car anymore. I'm giving it to my homeboy because," or I'm letting go of the car, and now I give it to you, and now the car is yours, right? Um, and then a while later, it's like, "Yo, I need to hold that car," but then it's like, "But this is my car that you gave to me." or this is the car that you like let go. And it's like, nah, I didn't really let it go. I just let you hold it down for a little bit. But I want the car back. And now I have to invade the car. I think that analogy is
Mm.
very bad, but I hope
Mm-hmm.
that you guys understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that was terrible.
All
But
right. Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Let's stick to the facts. I tried it and we're just gonna move swiftly along for embarrassing myself. Car? What? Anyway, I was just trying to break it down for those who might have thought that was confusing, but I guess it wasn't. Anyway, so yeah, so that's basically the situation, and that's why Russia is um, having this military exercise in Ukraine. But really, it's war because there's a whole bunch of violence going on. And just to
Basically,
preface,
Russia's saying, just because I took off my shoes, that don't mean I want you to wear it, Ukraine, all over the place.
see, that's another good analogy. Shoes. I
Yeah.
hope some of y'all get that because I think it made it more worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. We're not good at analogies for this, but just read the news, whatever. Y'all understand what's going on. Currently, the current situation there is that based on the news that I've read recently, is that both countries have agreed to create safe corridors for people to evacuate and to allow supplies and things to pass through. So it's kind of like a ceasefire in a way, but it's really just like, yo, we tired of fighting, or we tired of scrapping. Let's just give some time for people to like get out of the danger zones and for supplies to come in so people could be nourished. So yeah, I mean, definitely T's and P's to people in Ukraine, because us here in the States, I don't think we can ever imagine
Right.
that type of military action happening on this soil. So even us talking about it is like, yes, we can only discuss it from what we've read and what we see and what people put out there, but I don't think we will ever be in a space where we're witnessing that or experiencing that on this soil. Unfortunately, the things that we are experiencing on the soil, similar to over there, is racism, because racism. So that unfortunately never goes away, regardless of what continent you're in. And when I first started hearing about these things, I was kind of confused and taken back, because it's like, I mean, I guess I don't really know the population of this country, so I didn't really realize that there was a heavy population of people from different countries that were living there. Um, but now understanding that and realizing it, just kind of seeing the different stories that are coming out of it that aren't really getting well, now I guess with social media they're getting much more coverage than prior, but initially when it first started, I don't think anyone was really paying attention. So for example, I don't know if people have seen by now, but there was footage of, or this clip of a Ukraine train station, and people were standing at the train station, and there was a lot of people, um, a lot of residents of Ukraine that derive from Africa, and those particular people were being denied access to the train to, leave Ukraine. And you can see in
Mm-hmm.
the footage that, certain people are being let on the train, other people are being denied, women and
Mm-hmm.
children, and it's just a poor scene altogether, right? There's other clips of people being left at the border, people being assaulted, or accounts of people being assaulted by border guards, and other people being stuck in line for days and hours. And the Ukrainian officials have denied all of these things, saying like, "Oh no, it's not true," da da da. But we all know that's just one big cover up, or not really a big cover up, but covering up enough to the fact that people are actually witnessing and experiencing these things over there. So, I mean, especially with times of war, I read online where there's a lot of misinformation swirling around. So you really have to be careful of what you read and what you see, and
Mm-hmm.
who is most importantly sharing that information. So,
I think
yeah.
with a grain of salt to take that in as well too, because even though we see everything that's going on, we all have our own sense of judgment, and we can see what is a blatant bias. And a lot of the justifications behind some of the footage that I've seen was saying, oh, they were only letting people with Ukrainian passports and documents get through first, and then the
Mhm.
second tier of whoever's there can go through. And my initial reaction was, if somebody who is Black, born in Ukraine, have a Ukraine passport, and have every documentation to say, I am Ukrainian, still tries to go through the borders, they would be deflected as well too. So why is that still a problem if this is a born and bred Ukrainian Black person or family or whoever? You know what I mean?
Right.
So a lot of people are saying, oh, that's not true, it's not this and it's not that. But then when other factors are into play, it's like, so what is the real truth? What are we
Mhm.
seeing? Are we just getting a certain type of news caliber that's being shown in the US? Are we just being tunnel vision about what's really going on? Is there another story that we don't know? You know, and everything's just up in the air. And to not even to dive into the whole conspiracy theories, it's so many different stories out there, different news platforms. There's no one that you can really say, hey, is this what's really going on right now in Ukraine? And
Mhm.
it's just like, what's true, what's real, what's fake news, what's what, you know?
Right. And in that regard, right? I mean, for example, have you heard of the story of the foreign students that were stranding in Ukraine? Did you hear about that? How, for example, there was one story about a Nigerian doctor who was
I
stuck
heard
in
tons of
in the
stories.
Poland-Ukraine border with for about like 2 days, and Ukrainian people weren't allowing him to leave. And there's other stories very similar to that where people have been stuck for days. I did hear about people trying to get out through Poland, and they had to go through those channels. So, you're hearing all these stories, and the fact that it is getting traction means that these things are actually happening. But once again, based on the outlets and based on where you're getting that information from, it's either just dismissed altogether, it's not being reported, and even these news outlets, how they're describing what's happening over there has been riddled with a sense of racism in it too. There was that one clip where the reporter, he was talking to the other person, and he was giving the account of how European people with blue eyes and blonde hair are being killed, right? And it's just like, why are those descriptive? Like, I've never heard
Yeah, why are those
anyone
scripts? Yeah.
describe the people who are the casualties by the specific features. That's weird to me. I never heard of that. So I mean, you have all these examples of that, and once again,
But that's like not even something new, not to cut you off. But when
mhm.
I went over into Eastern Europe, I went on my medical mission trip
Oh
over
yes,
there.
you are a correspondent at the
I
time,
am not a correspondent,
a
but
medical correspondent in the
you
field.
you you understand what it's like, because I went there. I had, Black girls, we travel, we wear our braids, we got our braids in. And I think when I went, and specifically Romania, I think I was the first Black person that uh these people have ever seen, like in real life. Like, you see them on magazines, pictures, TV, but it's still a mystery to a lot of places in Eastern Europe where there are people who have never seen a Black person. I felt like an unknown celebrity there. They wanted to touch my hair. They
Right.
would ask me to get off the tour bus that I'm touring to take pictures of me. So when I hear about that, and I'm like, okay, there's an upliftment of Black people, because I didn't feel any racist vibes. I just felt like, wow, I'm this new shiny toy that they've never seen before. Now when I'm in that
Mm,
element, now I'm in that
mhm,
element. No, I didn't get it from them. I'm just saying, on a personal level. There might be somebody who has some kind of racist ties behind them in Eastern Europe. I'm not denying that. But the people that I've interacted with personally, there wasn't any type, because we were in the medical field. We conversed, we spoke, and then they were curious about, oh, how did you do your braids? Or how did this
mhm,
happen? Or what do you do? So it wasn't a place of racism, but a place of curiosity. When I've experienced that, and then I hear on the flip side that they're denying people from safety to cross the border, that's when my mind goes into a series of conflicted thoughts. I'm like, all right, you're so intrigued by everything about Black culture, but you won't let Black people be safe.
Yeah, that is definitely a wild catch-22. And especially once again, with the overlooming essence of war, so to speak. I mean, I can imagine that the country is giving priority to those that are of, I guess,
Mm.
natural blood. I don't know. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's the only
And
thing I can think
that's
of when it
everywhere.
comes.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it is everywhere. Well, is it everywhere though?
Yeah, if you are a nationalist from that country, you get priority anywhere. Look, even Grenadians in Grenada get priority.
Right, but respectfully so. But this is war. Like this, like people are getting killed. This is not on some yo. You're getting your passport first, right? You know, all people from this country to the front of the line. You know what I'm saying?
And
This is
that's
like everyone needs to get out of this
in
of
an
the area.
ideal world that'll happen, but we don't
Mhm.
live in anything remotely ideal.
Ideal. And then you know what's the wild part? um, your president Joe Biden, he's out here slapping sanctions on Russia and thinking like, oh, these sanctions are
Oh
going to do
Lord.
something. You think Putin cares about the sanctions, son? Spoiler alert, he doesn't. That man don't care about nothing. He is 10 toes down and 15 cannons up.
Listen, if Biden watched, and I mean this with the utmost respect, if he only watched at least one SVU episode with a Russian gang or a Russian mob from Brooklyn, he would know how to move accordingly. No, honestly, and this is just like basic survival skills that you learn. Like, how does he not know? Like, it's not going to do it. That's a slap on the wrist. Like, what? Not even
Yes,
a hard slap.
Law and Order is pretty much the world just in a microcosm. But nonetheless, I mean, it's I mean, people are treating the situation, whereas like you want people want to get involved, but they don't want to get involved because the
Mm-hmm.
relationship and all that stuff. But unfortunately, that we have other people, foreign people, who are being affected by this, and especially when it comes to the media, I'm always concerned about how the media treats certain stories and situations. So just the fact that, the coverage of people, or at least the coverage of people who are not of that country, are being denied. What I think is, or what I feel is like, is it easy to feel sympathy for what's happening over there, knowing that these offenses are taking place? You know what I mean? Because it's like, all right, yes, everyone's like, oh my gosh, peace to Ukraine. Let's think about the Ukraine people. But realistically, it's like, yo, if this wasn't happening, if the war wasn't happening, would the underlying seeds of racism still be there? And I think the answer is yes, right? You know what I mean? Because it's like, I think now it's just bubbling because there's an emergency. Anything with an emergency,
Right.
these type of things kind of emerge. So the fact that we're now witnessing, or we're now hearing these stories and people are shocked, it's like, should we be show? Because we never, I mean, before any of this was happening, were we, as in people in the States here, were we really checking for Ukraine?
Yeah, that's true. That's
Really? I
true.
mean, that's what I'm saying, where it comes to that sympathy, is it real? I mean, should we be feeling something? Is it just like we're far removed? So it's like, yeah, it sucks, but damn, all we can do is watch. Like, what do you think?
I think the latter, because right now everybody's really just sitting on their hands or biting their nails or anticipating of what is going to be the next move and where our world is going to go. Because if anything goes down with NATO, WW3, and you know what? We don't take anything seriously.
No, we don't.
Nothing seriously. Everybody's joking. Oh, I have this citizenship here. I can't be drafted for the war and all this jazz. And I'm like, this could be a real thing. Like,
Hmm.
we watch every movie, every historical movie, and we might be living in a time where we would see war. And this is how it starts.
Yeah, slowly. But the thing is, you know, unlike the past wars, right? I mean, any type of war. There was a war in Afghanistan, and we lived through that in a social media age. So even the way that was being portrayed,
It's not as bad now.
it
Because
wasn't
now
as
everyone has
wary.
access as social media aid, not worry.
I'm just saying.
Social media e. The war is terrible, but now that everyone has a soapbox and everyone has a platform, it is becoming more and more desensitized in a sense.
Correct, but even as I was just joking about it, realistically, kind of going back to that statement that the reporter talked about European people, and there was other news outlets that were pretty much making it seem like, yo, this is Ukraine. Stuff like this doesn't happen here. It happens in the Middle East. It happens in Syria and all these things. Like that's where you expect the bombings. That's where you expect all these things. So even that baked in racism, it kind of goes back to what we witness or how we experience these coverages of war, right? So like, for example, in the Middle East, knowing how volatile it is over there, when we hear stories about, oh yes, there's been a bombing in, you know, X area over there, then it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, we expect that because that's the Middle East, you know, I mean, they wilding over there. But when we're hearing about it in Russia, which is more quote unquote sovereign country, then it's like, whoa, shock, surprise, this shouldn't be happening in a place like this. You know what I mean? So even that, just even our conditioned notions of, you know, how war is portrayed in different places has been seeped into us through news and through these media outlets. So, you know, the way that they're kind of, I mean, granted, yes, it's definitely something to be like expounded on or shared a lot, but just the way that these two different quote unquote wars are being portrayed is also telling as well, right? So I think we really need to be careful how, or really be careful how we consume the type of news, or at least the type of reports that we're seeing, but also understand that there are differences based on, you know, how it's being covered. And shout out to Janice, my friend Janice, Dr. Janice Gassam. She's the person that wrote this article called Pervasiveness and Racism in Media. And she was talking about just what I was talking about before, how like racism is baked into how these things are covered. And I just feel like, you know, we don't really catch on it because we're so caught up with the sensationalism of the event, and we don't really take a step back and realize, wait a minute, this is being covered differently, or oh, the type of information that's being put out there versus firsthand accounts are completely vast. And I feel like that's what carves us to see things differently. So most of the stuff that I saw was either from like Twitter and all these things, and I trust Twitter as a news source, not the freaking news alert lightning bolt bullshit. I'm talking about like actual people, like cell phone footage, because you know what I'm saying, that that's stuff that can't be manipulated. Those are things that, well, depending, but for the most part, firsthand accounts from people online are usually not manipulated in a way where there's a slant or there's a spin, you know? And I think that's really important for us as people on social media, or at least people that consume media, to really watch out for.
I agree.
Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, what needs to be done? Like, who needs to address the racism happening over there? Like, is it, I mean, we clearly can't count on these major media outlets. So who do we count on?
It's sad
like,
that in the midst of war, off the tail end of Black History Month, we still have to attack the root cause of racism. And I don't know about you, I am tired. I am tired of trying to defend myself because of my skin color. And now here we are, where people can potentially lose lives, and there's still not any type of accountability for it. There's still not a type of safe space or some type of person or organization that can say, hey, you're being unfair in the midst of a global, you know, almost warfare. You know what I mean? Why is
And on
that?
top of that,
What?
we're in the midst of a pandemic. Let's just
Oh,
sprinkle that little cherry on top.
sorry, I was evolving like COVID. I almost forgot. We still have COVID. What the
Big
hell?
COVID
Like
energy.
it's multi-layered. It's so many parameters behind this, and at the end of the day, racism still is a topic, and
The
I'm
longest
exhausted.
war, the longest war that has been raging for centuries is the war in race. So, I mean, realistically, people talk about the big major world wars and all these things. The race war has actually been going on for quite some time, and this is just one example of how it's being portrayed or how it's being carried out. So, I mean, at the ultimate end of the day, like, you know, I feel like if you are a person who consumes the news and stuff like that, I'm not telling people how to feel. Like, for example, I know people who are like deeply affected by what's happening over there, like coworkers and all this stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely empathize with them, and I'm never gonna sit here and say, "Oh, don't feel a way about what's going on over there." But also realize that there are layers to this cake, and some of those layers are not exactly fresh. And this is an example of things that we have to look at, especially when it comes to wartime, where it's not just about the bombs and the freaking missiles. It's also about the people on the ground who are being affected. And the people who are currently being affected on a really fucked up level is the Black people over there. So my thoughts are with them, because no one should have to deal with a level of discrimination during a very volatile situation and be at risk of harm. No one at all. So my thoughts are out. My thoughts go out to them. I hope that they're safe. I hope that, things certainly don't escalate more over there. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're all going to do our best to like pay attention to what's going on. But also, it's okay if you may just be like, yo, just another Tuesday. I ain't got the energy or time to consume this,
Mm-hmm.
because realistically, it's just, once again, this is a triple multi-layered cake that this whole Ukraine thing is just another part of it. So don't
Yep.
beat yourself up if you're not in the know. You know what I mean? Like, it took a lot for me to just do enough research to understand what's going on and to acknowledge the fact that this is something that has been going on and happening in the past couple of weeks. So yeah, I just urge everyone listening to, it's great to stay informed, but don't feel like you have to necessarily bend over backwards if this is something that you're not passionate about, or if this is just something that doesn't affect you day to day, because realistically it doesn't affect our day to day. Like,
Yeah.
and we have the privilege of saying that because we're not over there, and we have the privilege of saying that because of where we live geographically.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't want people to feel bad about that. As I said, if you know somebody that has family over there, or if you know people on the ground over there, definitely, do your best to support and whatever the case may be. But for everyone else who's just, once again, just receivers of this event, just do your best to compress it the best way you can. That's pretty much my advice.
Yeah, I agree. And if all else fails, just say a silent prayer for everybody going through it. You know,
Mm,
I know I had a couple of coworkers and some colleagues of mine, um, a foreign medical graduate from Russia who works as a nurse. I know she was going through it because her family are still there. And I had a coworker of mine who also has family from Croatia, but her husband had Ukrainian family members as well too. So they're going through it as well too. And even though Black people, we are suffering racism, there's
mhm.
ties of many racism in between the European countries as well too, because even
Right.
between Croatia and like Ukraine, there's still like some kind of discord between certain families in regards to that. But that's a whole nother scenario of segregation between European countries. But if all else fails, I just say, you are my thoughts and prayers. I hope everything
Peace and
works out
peace.
well with you and your family. And make sure that, you contact them, FaceTime them, make sure everybody's okay. And the most important thing, and I'm big on that, it's just having a safe space.
Yeah, ultimately, yeah, we certainly wish that everyone is safe, regardless. But especially for those who are unfortunately suffering through discrimination over there and is being denied access to safety and asylum and all these things. Just as I said, I really hope that things kind of turn out for the best, because I can't even begin to imagine what that even feels like, especially, as I said, being in a somewhat foreign country to your own and navigating that. So I just hope everyone's safe, son. Just another crazy day in the crazy world.
It's 2022. You know that, right?
No, it's 2020. You.
No.
Remember that,
It's 2022. It's 2020 all over again. That's what I'm trying to hint at.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
I see what you did with the wordplay.
Yeah.
2022.
200.
Clever.
Yep.
You clever.
Yep. It's the makings. Listen, wasn't it around March it started happening? History repeats itself. Hello.
So you think every March some crazy shit's gonna go down?
No, only in 2022, because it's clearly 2022. Only this year. Then we're gonna have a rebirth during the odd year, and then boom, we back in action. That's my prediction.
All right. Well, thank you for that forecast.
Can't stand
make sure
your
to carry an
ass.
umbrella.
I can't stand you.
The shit is gonna rain.
Anyway.
Anyway, all to lighter things. So we've been working behind the scenes to improve the show and just improve the experience for you guys. So we're gonna try some new things, see how it works. Hope you guys receive it, enjoy it. So we got some segments that we want to shoot your way. We did try one or start one in the past couple episodes, but we want to bring it back. So Rovie, Miss Queen of the Block, do we have another addition to our list?
Well, thanks for listening to Rovie's Queen of the Block list. My block list is for a particular item, namely the I-95. If nobody knows what the I-95 is, it's the Interstate 95. It is the longest interstate on the easternmost border of the continental United States of America. Okay? The I-95 goes from Maine to Florida, right? It is 1,908 miles, which is equivalent to 10,740,000 feet, right? The longest strip is, guess where? What state? I'm gonna ask you.
This is a trick question. You're gonna say Florida.
What state has the longest? Yes. Florida has the longest strip of the I-95, which is terrible. There are at least 3 crashes every day in each state the I-95 goes through every day. Now, I don't know about you, but particularly in Florida, the 95 is always backed up. 6 a.m., 9 a.m., 12 p.m., 2 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 9 p.m., back again to 12 a.m., 3 o'clock in the morning, you will find traffic on a little chunk of the 95. I want to block the 95 on my list because I am tired of getting on the 95 and just chipping in traffic. Now, I know traffic in New York, LA, everywhere else is bad, but in Florida, which has the longest strip of the 95, there is no means to get out. You want to go one place, you better go down the side roads or the back street alleys. I don't know if anybody else experiences the 95. I know I have certain friends up north who take it with the George Washington Bridge or trying to go to Connecticut. Sometimes their commute last from 20 minutes to 2 hours just to go from one exit to the next. And that's usually because people can't drive. I don't know where they get the license from, but
Well,
people cannot
convenient.
drive. Today, I was driving home and somebody had their left indicator on and they turned right 3 lanes across the 95. Not a care in the world, just pushed their way through. I saw good sound effects. I saw somebody make a full stop in the middle lane to merge to the left lane, which is the fast lane. And they went 10 miles below the speed limit. So all of these nuances build up into more traffic. Then don't forget the road work, the accidents, the cops. When the cops come, everybody drives at 50 miles an hour on a 75 mile per hour highway. And then we just backed up for the whole trip. And guess what? I'm not paying extra to go through the express lane. And if I do, it's the HOV lane. So I don't have nobody else in my car, but I'm still driving when I'm late and they can catch me if they can. I haven't get caught yet, knock on wood, but they can catch me if they can. I heard the tickets is buku money. I'm not trying to pay that. I'm gonna fight it.
Yikes.
But I'm blocking the I-95 this week. I don't know how anybody else feels. Anybody on the East Coast? Anybody else wants to chime in and say what's the worst highway to drive in the United States? But I think the 95 needs to be blocked, and I'm blocking it. I'm probably gonna find every side street that I can move and shake through. It'll be Fast and Furious on North Miami Avenue for me.
There it is. Wow. So for all you drivers out there,
Yeah,
I-95.
you don't get to experience that. You still get to take the good old train.
You know what? I
You
haven't.
get
I
a lot of
mean,
showtime, so you good.
no. I can't even tell you the last time I've been on a train, so I have not experienced
Ooh, you fancy.
Showtime COVID edition in quite some time. I don't know what that's like, and I don't want to. So there
Even I
is that.
experienced showtime during COVID. That's terrible.
Yeah. Yikes. Well, that sounds like a nightmare. Like, the only Showtime I want to experience is on my TV.
Okay. All right. All
And speaking
right.
of TV, I'm gonna hit y'all with the binge of the week, what you guys should be watching or listening to or experiencing. My binge for this week is y'all need to watch this show called Servant. It is on Apple TV. Now I'm a bougie bitch, so I have every streaming platform, but Apple.
Ooh, let me
All
hit
right,
you up for your
let's
passwords
we're
afterwards
moving
because I gotta
swiftly.
watch it too.
We're moving swiftly
Hey,
along. So
we are friends, right? We're friends, right? Let me hear about this
swiftly
show.
along. Servant is a wild show about this nanny who this family adopts to take care of their kid, but then you find out some wild shit about the kid, and it's just like every episode is just like a mind fuck, and it's 3 seasons in so far. Um, Stars a whole bunch of crazy white people. It even has the actor who played Ron Weasley in Harry Potter. I don't remember his name, but he's in that show too. And there's a whole bunch of cussing, there's a whole bunch of witchery and cultiness, and yeah,
Mm.
you should definitely check it out. It is.
And they made it
It's
3
like,
seasons and I didn't hear about it?
well, Apple TV.
Well, I know who
They
to hit up.
they you're a local cable provider. Oh, but moving right along. Oh shoot. Oh man, that's funny. Anyway, so yeah, that's a show I suggest y'all watch. Servant. It's really good stuff.
I'm glad you didn't do any spoilers because I know you love to
No,
binge
oh I
everything.
don't do spoilers, no, not at all. I do my
Yeah,
best to
but you
catch
binge
TV.
all the shows.
I do my best. I mean, I'd be busy, but when I get some
I'm
downtime.
terrible. My friends get on me on that all the time. See, I am a savor the moments. I like to taste and see and let it marinate in my mouth. And some people just like to run it through like a choo-choo train.
Are you talking about steak? I don't understand what's going on. Are we talking about food? What's going on? What's happening here?
I said they run through it like a choo-choo train. It came out so bad.
It's you making you laugh at me. Oh man.
Came out bad.
Do we want to? So let's end off the show with a high note. So back to you, Rovie, and yeah, explain to the people what this is.
So I have a couple of Rovisms. On Twitter, I usually try to put out some words of affirmations for myself for the day. And, I'm on this journey of mindfulness and peaceful and taking hour-long meditation. So I wanted to share that with you guys on this platform. And if that inspires someone, hey, it makes my day. And hopefully it makes your day.
Amazing. Let's go for it.
Okay. So my Rovism today is to reserve your time and spirit for those who make you feel at ease. And I think this correlates well, especially with trying to find a safe space. And it just goes back into our topic. Everybody just wants to feel like they're at home,
Word.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. All right.
Sometimes I'll be coming up with some good stuff,
Not sometimes.
Part of my
I'll be on
evolution.
Twitter. I'll be following you on the tweets. You be
Wait, I
dropping some gems.
didn't block you yet. I didn't block you on Twitter yet.
Wowzer. You can't for the year. It's just March. There's no year.
I feel like I block you every other day, but that's just the relationship we have.
It's probably in your head. Let's stay in your head. I will never block you.
Wait, you don't think that I block you?
Oh no, I know you have. I'm not saying you haven't. All I'm saying is currently, let's keep that thought of blocking me in your head and not on the keyboard. That would make my heart smile. Thank you so much. I'm
evolving my block list. Ooh, don't be naive. But at least I'm honest with you and let you know when you're being blocked.
Of course, respectfully.
Sure.
I've more than likely
I'm very respectful with that.
I'm more than likely have done something block worthy, so it makes sense. Walking away emoji.
You stealing my emoji too? God, yo, you can't steal the recipe all you want to, but the sauce is never going to taste the same. All right.
See these auntie sayings. You and these auntie sayings. I swear.
Well, I'm trying to be that rich auntie. Okay.
All right. $1 bill at a time. Until then. Thank you all for watching. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure if you want to catch us on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and all the other podcast platforms. Also, make sure to follow us on social media, respectfully, our social media websites. And also, if you want to ask a question or want to be a guest on the show, make sure to email us at sophigpodcast@gmail.com, and we will make sure to set you up.
Yeah.
So that is it for the week. Hope you guys have a great week despite all the craziness happening. Stay safe, stay Black, and stay blessed.
Amen. Signing off.
Say goodbye, Rovie.